It's week 11, and this week is a heavier week than normal because we're going to be covering two chapters. Chapter 13 is going to introduce you to the notion of diversity and inclusion. I get that it's hard to think about needing to call this out, but it's such an important piece because a diverse organization usually is one that's very innovative, creative, and is then very profitable. And that type of culture is what really thrives in our society and does well in terms of creating great products and offering great services. So be thinking about that from the perspective of how much an inclusive environment in an organization does to bring about multiple perspectives, innovation, and creativity to the table, while also just helping to advance us as human beings. I've given you a video to watch that shows the diversity and inclusion strategic plan for Texas Wesleyan University. Please watch that and look over that and understand what we're doing here on campus to be an inclusive environment for students, faculty, staff, visitors, friends, guests, and everyone that is a stakeholder in Texas Wesleyan University. You're then going to leave the concept of management organizing. So we've gone through planning and organizing, those two functions. We're moving into the third function of management with chapter 14, and that is, sorry, I just went blank. So we did planning, organizing, and now we're going to move in and start looking at the next phase, which is leading and then controlling. So my mind went blank. Thanks for hanging in there with me. But we're going to start looking at leadership. And that starts with knowing ourselves as individuals. So chapter 14 is looking at the individual. Be thinking about how we manage talent in an organization and put people in the proper places so that we can maximize productivity, engagement, loyalty, and commitment. You have a case this week that I'm also assigning to you. And I gave you 2 weeks to get that done. The case analysis is the same format used, and I've explained that in the directions. Read the case. There are the case is tough love, so read the case that's provided. Write down the symptoms and what you see is going on in the organization or in the dilemma. Write down the stakeholders, so who do we need to be thinking of when we're looking at how do we fix this problem? Step back from all those lists that you've made and look for a common theme that will indicate the real problem rather than just the symptoms. So with the Southwest Airlines case, some students got caught up in bags or no bags. That was a symptom of a larger problem called we need sustainable revenue streams to keep our company moving forward. That is not what happened in a lot of the cases. We got stuck on bags or no bags. That concept or that dilemma is what got us into a conversation to realize that we need to be thinking about a sustainable revenue stream, and bags was what triggered the conversation. If we merely just charge or don't charge for bags, we may be back in the same conversation in the future if people don't take bags that we need to charge for. So if we allow them to have one free, people will only pack one bag. So we're still not going to gain any money from that. So be really creative, innovative, and spend time trying to figure out what the problem is in this case. Then you're going to draft up and think about 3 innovative ways that you could solve this problem. Weigh the pros and cons of each alternative, and then figure out which one of the 3 is the best option to go with. Develop that option a little bit more than you did previously and talk about how you're going to implement it and what desired or intended outcomes you think will come from implementing this decision. So that's what you're going to do for this case, is exactly what you did for the first case. The only difference here is that you're going to do a presentation for it and not write a paper. The details of the expectations are in the instructions, so please be mindful that you can create a PowerPoint presentation and then you can just voice over record yourself delivering the presentation and submit that. If you want to go and be creative, you can also video yourself giving the presentation, and that's fine as well. So I'm leaving it up to you to decide how you're going to get the presentation submitted and what that actually looks like in terms of format. I'm giving you some freedom and creativity to do that. So if you have questions, please come see me. We're moving along rather quickly. There are a couple more assignments that we will see in addition to your mind tap and quiz. And I will be happy to answer any questions, but please be mindful that there are a few more coming in the next few weeks. And I hope you have a great week and enjoy diversity and inclusion and learning about the self in chapter 14. Thanks.